to everyone here, those from far and those from near. Celebrating Bella's 9th year is special for us, so let's get on with it and make a fuss. First on the list is Bella's amazing son. Rafi, get up and talk to everyone.
As I just said to Sherry, Dwalansky, and to Dwan, there are hundreds of years of connections here that it's amazing that people have taken time out, and especially to come and be here with my mom this evening. I just want to share a very, very deep personal feeling, which the first time I really expressed it was on Shabbos afternoon with my cousin Brian's wife, Beryl. Just to put you all into the picture, most of my mother's nieces and nephews came with their spouses to be here from Australia, South Africa, and Canada to be here. Yesterday afternoon, I'll introduce them. Okay, just hold on 1 second. Yesterday afternoon, all right, you know what, we'll start. My oldest first cousin, not because she's old, but the eldest first cousin, Ruth Sandler from Johannesburg. And next, I think, is her sister Maureen Helmer from Cape Town, and her spouse, John, her partner, John. Then my cousin Brian Leviton and his wife Beryl from Australia. What? Yeah, his hair is normally black, he dyed it grey. Brian's sister Moira, where's Moira? Moira's from Port Elizabeth. And then my mother's other nephew, Herschel Wasserman and Nikki from Vancouver, Canada. I think I've covered all. And Eldad, Kamuvan Eldad, who are Shachen HaNe'eman Shel Ima. He's Bobba Bella's faithful neighbor. Hold on, we'll come to Toby and to the doctor. Yesterday afternoon at 6 o'clock, landed, I could say, sort of my stepbrother and his wife. We grew up from age nearly 0. Selwyn Greenberg and his wife Les arrived from Johannesburg yesterday. The interesting about the Greenbergs is that Selwyn's father was Greenberg and his mother's maiden name was Barnett, but we weren't related. So just a quick anecdote. At Selwyn's late father, his name was Ivan, but his nickname was Justice Greenberg. And my bar mitzvah in Yovel Shul, Mr. Garb, who was the Gabba, the shamus of Yovel Shul, he came, he says, "Your Honor, Mr. Justice Greenberg." Because that's how judges were. Anyhow, so I was with Beryl on Shabbat after we spent a family Shabbat, which is quite historic to have family from all over the world together, and here in Israel, not in South Africa, not in America, not in Australia, but here in Israel, in Yad Binyamin. And I was saying to Beryl, sometimes we think of many things, but you're scared to say them because passionate. So I'm going to share it now with all of you, and you'll understand why. Now, just don't get a shock at my opening words. Every time I go to a funeral, to a levaya, and I hear the hesped, they say the most phenomenal and wonderful things about their parents. And my thought always at every funeral is, did that son or daughter ever have time during the life of the parent to say exactly those words? Did you have the time? Did you have the moment? Did you find the courage to say those things while your parent was alive and awake and aware? I've never said it before, and I cried my eyes out when I was telling Beryl on Shabbos afternoon, and Beryl can verify that. And so, many words of appreciation are said Davka de Hesped, and I chose, together with Dina, that this is going to be a celebration of life and not a Hesped. It's a celebration of life. And I saw in the Torah tidbits, the holy Torah tidbits, about a month or 2 months ago, where Rabbi Weinrab wrote, Rabbi Elimelech Bar Shaul, who was the chief rabbi of Rehovot, he said in his volume called Mina Be'er, he elaborates eloquently upon the benefits for the grateful person to share his experiences with others. Narration of one's story changes the story, he writes. It helps one integrate it into his behavior. It helps one remember it longer, and it helps one more fully appreciate his good fortune. He then goes on to explain that in the time of the next Beit HaMikdash, most of the korbanot and many of the mitzvot are going to be done away with, because there's going to be no reason for it. And he quotes a collection of the Midrash in which these words appear. In that distant future, no one will sin, hence sacrifices will not become relevant. Prayer will not be necessary because there will be no illness and no woe. Not that mitzvot will be obsolete, but if one has no roof, there's no mitzvah to build a protective fence around the roof. So too, if there's no sin and no sacrifice, no woes, no prayers, but gratitude, that will be eternally necessary, and even more so in a more perfect world. There are certainly religious occasions which warrant solitude, but occasions for gratitude are not times for solitude. They are occasions for a party. So, in the Matzegah, in the movie that we were going to see later, we called it a celebration of life. Ma, you chose all the time to seek life, to seek health, and to seek happiness. And you are content with everything that you have, both physically and spiritually. You got married and settled in Johannesburg, little to know that Daddy would pass away very soon after my bar mitzvah at the age of 42. Uncle Philip, your brother, Philip Katz from Paarl, offered us to move to Paarl, and after school I would move into the bar to work in the bar. I was so excited, I would be near the sea. But Ma, you chose life and continuity with all the difficulties that came with it. Receiving help from your family, the Jewish community who supported you, raising Errol and I with a good education and a solid Jewish basis. Not long after that fateful Shabbat evening with Errol's passing away, you stood in the room at the Johannesburg General Hospital and you said to me, which I have never understood. You said to me, that is what Hashem wanted. I never realized nor understood your deep and immense sense of understanding of life and emunah. Your aliyah to Israel with Jamie, who would have thought at that age of yours and the age of Jamie, both of you would come to Israel on aliyah. But Baruch Hashem, your love of life, passion for people, caring for anybody and everybody, whether giving them a tissue on the bus instead of them picking their nose, or sending kreplach to people who were chalishing for something from their youth and from their parents' home, you touched the hearts, the minds, and affected many, many people, many more people than you realize. To the extent most of your nephews and nieces from Australia, South Africa, and Canada, as well as family friends, the Greenbergs, are here to celebrate your life with you this evening. Many, many more people should have and could have been invited to this evening. But you know, the emotions, the space. It's just, these are all the people, how people came from Beit Protea. I must just say, Pearl Catlin, you go back to the days of my father, my mother, the Greenbergs, and everybody, that you are here with us, together with your son Bernard and Felicity and their spouses. I grew up with Bernard. I sang with Bernard in the choir. I visited you in your home in Johannesburg with your husband Joe in Israel, and you are here with us. It is a big bracha that we have you here with us, and together with my mother and Kol HaKavod. Thank you. We have also my late cousin Marion, my mother's brother Philip Katz from Paarl, his daughter who passed away a few years ago. Their two daughters are here. Martine and Ilana are here, one from Beersheba and one from Be'er Yaakov. It's near Tel Aviv. I was about to say near Tel Aviv. Be'er Yaakov. Okay, for 50 kilometers. Okay, but thank you very much, as well as with Shelly, Martine's daughter. Kol HaKavod. Toda Rabban. Also, to the captains from Netanya, I'm not going to go into each and every single person here. My mother's friends who she made here in Ramot, she used to call them her Riga friends, her Argentinian friends, etc., 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 who came from all over. Thank you very much for being here with us. We'd like to thank each and every one of you for making the effort to be here this evening with us. To our wonderful family, our children and your spouses, Yitzchak, Avital, Tzvi, it's the tear got in the way. Yitzchak, Tzvi, Avital, Yossi, Bracha, and Eliav, who's in the army. You should just know, I gave his officer a command that Eliav had to come out for Shabbat, and he did. Eliav came out for Shabbat. Unfortunately, he had to go back and serve in the IDF. In Tzahal, Baruch Hashem, he's serving in the army. But unfortunately, he's not here with us. And all their spouses, לחתנים וקלות שלנו, חגית אליאן, אמנון ליאורה, איתמר והעתידית של אליאב, תודה רבה לילדים המדהימים והחתנים והקלות שלנו, תודה רבה לכל אחד. Also, we've just been joined now by a very, very phenomenal and close friend, Richard, and the Ramatayim Choir. They were on a concert tour last night in Yerushalayim at the Jerusalem Theatre, and we will be hearing of them all a bit later. And that is the end of that. I'd like to call upon a friend of ours, Aviva, to join me, please, in singing a song dedicated to my mother.
I should be thankful for. I've had a goodly share, and as I sit here in the comfort of a cozy chair, my fancy takes me to a humble east side tenement, 3 flights in the rear to where my childhood days were spent. It wasn't much like paradise, but amid the dirt and all, there sat the sweetest angel one that I fondly hold. I live how few her pleasures. She never cared for fashion style. Her jewels and her treasures, she found them in her baby's smile. Oh, I know that I owe what I am today to this dear little lady, so old, so gray, was colored black. To that wonderful, wonderful Yiddish
has attended choir concerts galore. You can hear me. And you can still hear her say, I want to hear more. So in honor of her 90th year, we brought the guys here to sing to her. B'chasha, guys.
And I remember Taylor. Okay, so we're going to do a couple of numbers tonight. We're going to do a couple of things tonight that really, folks, we're not doing a performance here tonight. We want you to sing along with us. We hope that you know most of the things that we're going to do. And the first thing that we're going to do is really relates to what Rafi said earlier on about Emunah. This is a song that's sung by Shlomi Shabbat. Ein od milvado. It's about going on a journey and understanding the deep emunah of Hashem's ways, blessings from all sides of the spectrum. B'chasha. We've also chosen, because Bella is such a young lady, we've chosen our youngest soloist in the choir, Sam Levinson, who's going to do this number with us. Shah. here you are surrounded by children, by Rafi and Dina, where is she? Here she is. And grandchildren and great-grandchildren. And this song goes to that theme. And Rafi's going to be singing it for the first time tonight. You will notice that the words are on a napkin that I took off the table. So it's kind of fresh for us. But we're going to give it a go. And please join us. Okay. Because here we are in Jerusalem, Baruch Hashem, here you are with all of your family from, think about it, from Paul and Johannesburg, and what to gather with Skutech, to your credit. All these people have come from around the world to be here in Jerusalem. Please join us in a whole lot of songs dedicated to Jerusalem. Okay, we've got Boaz over here, and we have David. David over there. Okay, they're going to be up front also.
Jerusalem,
Richard talks to Kathy. Now you see and know what I do every Monday night with the most amazing people I do it with. The friends and family of the Ramadan Men's Choir every Monday night. Thank you so much.
Put it aside and not solve all the problems, to be able to live with questions and still live happily. And I think this is the model that you give us. And when I see you in shul, and I see you always smiling, always happy, that gives me a lot of inspiration how to continue my life. You have this wisdom of, as I said, putting, if there are any challenges, as we heard from Rafi, in the side, and just continue to live happy life. So my blessing to you that you'll continue to have happy life and a lot of nachat from your great mishpacha. We see that these values that you instilled in them, they carry with them all the Burnett family, as we know, Rafi and Dina, all their children. They're living happily. So they have v'chai bahem. They're living happily, Baruch Hashem, and their life is a deep life of values. They're so dedicated to society, to needs of society, to chesed. The value of chesed and values is so much deep in this family. So they actually, following your example, accomplishing the two meanings of v'chai bahem. They're living deep Torah values and chesed values, and they're just living happy. That assists them just to have happy life. So Mazal, continue to give us this great role model as you are. Mazal.
Came from far and wide to celebrate Bella's 90th at your side. There's been much reminiscing. We've had a ball. Cousin Brian will share memories with one and all. Bobba.
I was asked by Rafi to say a few words, and I thought, aha, there's a reason, because I have a unique relationship with Bella, because when I left university, I came to Johannesburg, I went there every Friday night, I went to Tricart, so I have to relate all these anecdotes, and that was my mission here tonight. However, God sent for me the best Ezer Connectee, the best helper to help me along, who tapped me on the shoulder and said, go and have a look at the book. So I went to have a look at the book, and I found I'm not the only one. There are many people in here who have exactly the same story about Bella's great kindness and her always a smile on her face in the face of adversity. So I thought, well, I'm getting a message here that I'm not going to talk about myself, but there are some higher things over here. I always remember the great historians who tried to analyze the Jewish people. They said, we can't understand it. There is a higher immanence that is keeping the Jews going. I thought there must be remez, a signal in the book, to tell me what the message is. And then I saw the photo of Bella and my Auntie Chaya. Both of them Aishin Chaya. People can't understand. And then I thought, there's some connection over here, and then it all came. Why Jerusalem? Why did we go to Yad Benjamin? Why is it Auntie Bella and it was a reason? When I was about 8 years old, I was made to go to shul every Saturday. And you think, well, what's funny about that? What's funny about that is my parents had a butcher shop, and they had to work on a Saturday. And it broke my mother's heart that she had to work on a Saturday. So I asked, how come you work on a Saturday, but I have to go to shul? And she said, the only reason I live is that you will rebuild that which was lost. And I could follow the Lord. You will not work on Shabbat, you will go to university, you will become you'll become a professional, and you will restore. You see, you listen to your Auntie Chai, who said, become you will be president of the shul, and you will be a Talmud scholar. And when I left Port Elizabeth, I was armed, all my worldly possessions, one suitcase, and next to me in the car was a packet, a bag which had my chumash from my bar mitzvah, my talis and tefillin from my mitzvah, and I still use them today for my learning every week. The Feynman lectures on theoretical physics, which I still have, and a piece of paper which said, Bella Mother Street, Johannesburg. Mother Street, which was difficult to find because we had no GPSs. I had no map. My tires ran thin, and in Boysons they disappeared. So I was sent to learn some lessons. I learned in Peter Kavod, Aziu Ashir, Hasamev, who is happy, he was happy with his version, but I just learned the words. That piece of paper was saying, I'm going to give you some experiential learning. Of all the people that I know, and possibly here this evening, who've been dealt a hand of cards in life, perhaps Bella was dealt the most challenging hand. And yet, she rebuilt and came back. So why did we go to young people? I got up early in the morning and I was speaking to them, and he said, no, the people who came and established this place were initially Yamit, and they built up a massive agricultural empire, and they would take it and send to Gaza. And there again they were removed, and they came to Yad Yabin, and they rebuilt that which has been destroyed. And when we went on the tour this morning, despite my claustrophobia, something told me to go on the tour, and the guide told us about Jerusalem, that it is continuously rebuilt from what had been destroyed. And all the people who comes back, the Greenbergs, the persona of Justice Greenberg as well, similar to Bella taught me some valuable lessons in business. We do stock takes, and she's in Judaism, we do cheshbon hanefesh. We do a spiritual stock take. This is a time for all of us, and for me, a spiritual stock take. So thank you very much, Bella. And I would love to tell all the funny anecdotes about when we went to this place and that place, sung in a what was it? This is Yovel, and I even went to Ulpan classes with you. So all those professors who worry about, they don't understand why the Jewish people, in fact one of them called his book The Indestructible Jews, Dimon, professor of history. They should come here tonight and they will get the limits of why we are indestructible. I made a promise to my mother Sally at the age of 8, and I was programmed like R2D2 to go after Darth Vader and to connect with the Force. So, Yom Levet Sameach and bis 120. But in the meantime, if we don't meet again, maybe the Mashiach will come, and then we will all meet here again in Jerusalem. B'meira b'yameinu. Amen.
Grandchildren are a pleasure. They don't keep us up at night. We're supposed to laugh. They give us lots of nachas. Their parents teach them wrong from right. For Bella, lots of joy they have given her. I call on bracha for memories to share.
A minute ago, I asked Ian a word that I forgot in English. Because I'm very excited, I forgot how to say excited in English. So that's where I am. And because I'm excited, my English is not so good. So excuse me.
We're so busy with that.
When Ima and Abba asked me to speak this evening, I had no idea what I would talk about. I felt that no matter what I would say, I could not express all I feel. My life is full of experiences I share with Bobba. She is an integral part of my life. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
So I decided to talk about one experience we share. I'm sure that my siblings can also tell you about their own very special experiences they shared with Bobba. When I was about 8, I stayed home sick. Those who know us know that Bobba used to look after us when we weren't feeling well. Bobba probably realized that I wasn't really sick. So she decided we should go to the movies together. Don't tell him I know that. The film we chose was The Little Princess. Bobba immediately made sandwiches with yellow cheese and took water and pretzels begalach because she said to buy food at the cinema was chaval hakesef. The feeling I got when I sat next to Bobba at that movie has remained with me till this day. It was the warm feeling of being well loved and cared for. A feeling one can only get from a person who is an important part of one's life. A Bobba who never forgets to prepare my favorite cake, Swiss roll, for my birthday. Also Itamar, my husband, adores Bobba. He loves to laugh and joke with her. His English has improved so much. Because of a total acceptance of him, mistakes and all. Not only do we, the grandchildren, call her Bobba, our children, our friends, our parents' friends, and everybody else in the extended family call her Bobba. Bobba, we wish you many more years of health, joy and happiness. And of course, the most important thing we wish for you is, who can guess? Bobba, what is the bracha that you want the most? What is the blessing that you would want the most from all of us?
What do you always
To
say?
win the lotto, Bobba, to win the lotto. We love you, our Bobba, Mazal Tov.
Attention please everyone, the moment we've been waiting for has finally come. Put your hands together, let's hear you cheer. The birthday girl is who we want to hear. She'll make it short, don't shed a tear. She'll only speak 1 minute for every year.
Hello, everybody. I'm so honored to have you all here. A very special warm welcome to all my family and friends. I didn't know I had so many. Ralph has already introduced you to my nieces and nephews, so I'll have to skip that chapter. Dr. Rosemary, where are you? he gone?
Yeah, he had to go. Called away. He had to go. He was called away.
And he had to go. Oh, shame. I'll read to you what I wanted to say to you. Dr. Rosen, thank you for coming tonight. You weren't here. And a hearty thank you for keeping my joints oiled for so long. And now for a short resume of my family, my background. My father and my mother were both from Lithuania. They didn't know one another then, they both lived in a different state. The one was in Beers, and the other one was in Kupišek. But they emigrated to South Africa. My father had Beers in South Africa. His family were going to immigrate to Canada, which they did. But his friends in South Africa said, come to us. We help one another, etc., etc. So he came to South Africa. My mother's parents and family all came to South Africa as well. My parents were married in a shul, which was newly built. The old shul was burned down. You know the sounds that they have, what's the word, that kind of people in the... And so in the interim, the friends helped one another to settle into a business. My father started off with a grocery shop, and the family lived in the house next door, and all my brothers and sisters were born there. And then my father decided to take over, well, however it happened, a liquor business on the main street of Paarl. And that town of Paarl, down the Cape, is 7 miles long. The bar, if you were interested, we had a drink. Yeah, cold drink, only bottle, no whiskey, no wine. It had 2 entrances, one for Europeans, one for the colours. There were coloured people living in South Africa. And my family moved to the house next door to the bar. And there was a tremendous, and it was quite a big farm there. With when I think of it now, I can see those plum trees and fig trees and vineyards. And my father made wine from the grapes. And we had our own wine, be it for Shabbos, and be it for Pesach, what were we doing? My sister Jane came on Aliyah with me. She was the eldest, I am the youngest. The first child in the family was Jane. She was born in 1902. We were 4 sisters and 2 brothers. I was the baby, of course, 90 years old. In Paarl, we spoke Afrikaans, something like Dutch, but a different version, and English. I did my schooling in Afrikaans and the matric. I wrote matric, but I'm not shy to tell you I didn't get through. Because I didn't have teachers at home to help me, to explain to me, blah, blah, blah. When I asked my dad to help me with arithmetic, he gave me the answer. How did you get it? My dad was able to speak English, Hebrew, and Afrikaans. My mother only spoke Yiddish and Afrikaans, no English. I recall, now go to another subject, I recall that in the early years, the Shabbos from the shul used to ride on a bicycle the 7 miles and wherever he has to go into every Jewish family 6 months before Pesach and take the orders for Pesach because it came from America. After I left school, I worked in Palm as a shorthand typist for a few years, even though my dream was to become a concert pianist. I learned to play the piano. I had teachers and professors from England who came once a year. I wanted I could educate to see whether you passed your primary or your mathematics, which numbers, what is it, Carol? A few years later, I moved to Johannesburg, where I was married and I gave birth to 2 wonderful sons. My sister and I made Aliyah in 1983, 2 years after Ralph and Dina and the twins came to Israel. My life has been filled with very happy and exciting times, and a few hard times. And now I am 90, and I can finally do and say what I like. I'm extremely blessed by Hashem, with 6 grandchildren, their husbands and wives, and 11 great-grandchildren. So far. Thank you for your care and understanding my English and hearing. And I want to thank Rafi and Dina for all they've done to make my birthday so special. I had no idea what I was going to be in for. I thought we'd just get together and chat and have everything and all this and say good. It was a whole another concert. I thank you both for being so special. I'm going to end with a short story I found on the internet. I'm computer literate with help from my family. It blocks and stops and cancels and I've got to phone. Well, come on, I can't get on. Anyway, the little story I'm going to mention now, a little joke, I don't know what to call it, is called What is a Mother? Ancient Heidi. A mother is an argument stopper, a tonic mixer, home remedy doctor, Shabbos preparer, home beautifier, a guest accommodator, a meal caterer, an advisor. If you have problems, you ask about that. Nachas Kwenner, and to be proud of your children and grandchildren. Thank you all for coming and your patience for listening to me.
There are also another two people who are admitted. They always taught me as a compere, never mention a name because you will miss out another 20. But my mother said to me how deeply appreciative she is, Netta, of you being here with us this evening. Rini and Lawrence. Rini's mom, Lawrence and Rini are like our step-parents here in Ramot. And our Abba and our Ima, thank you very much, Netta. And also welcome to Goldie from Bloemfontein, Johannesburg, South Africa. Also, I got a call from Rabbi and Batya Kudstan this morning, wishing you a very, very happy birthday. They have Sheva Brachot for their grandson, who got married last week. They couldn't be here with us this evening, but they sent their love and happy birthday to you. Over to Dina.
The dessert is on the table. Please help yourselves and be ready to see the amazing surprise Ralph has prepared for Bella. Take 15.